Funny thing about a laugh. Sometimes it's the sound that buries you. Name's Frankie Russo. And this? This ain't some movie or legend. It's just the story of an ordinary man trying to do right by his family and losing himself along the way. 'Cause sometimes the loudest truths come from the quietest streets. That's me now, sitting on this porch, watching the sun bleed over a street I used to own. Folks think I was born bad. Truth is, I started soft. Grease under my nails, dreaming small, just keeping the lights on for Mom and my kid brother Danny. Dad ran off when I was 13, left a note. Be the man now. So I tried. Fixed cars, counted pennies, watched Mom drag herself home from the diner with feet swollen and heart tired. Danny, he was the golden boy. Smile could sell rain to a cloud. I just had grit. But grit don't pay hospital bills. Then the phone rang. Mom collapsed at work. Next morning, the bill came with more zeros than I could count. That's when Lenny showed up. Slick hair, suit too clean for this town, eyes that never blinked. Said he liked how steady my hands were, offered me a little side work. I laughed, thought he was joking. He wasn't. Run an errand, drop an envelope, keep a cut, I said no. Then maybe, then yes. 'Cause the lights were blinking and the fridge was humming empty. That first cash felt warm in my hand, too warm, like it remembered where it came from. And just like that, I wasn't fixing cars anymore, I was fixing problems. You don't feel the first line you cross. The second, you step quicker. The third, you start liking the view. But I should have known, 'cause the same blood that kept my mom alive was about to drown me in loyalty. You ever trust someone so much you don't notice when they're digging your grave with your own shovel? You ever notice how easy money hums louder than guilt? First week after Lenny's little favor, I paid Mom's hospital bill, filled the fridge, even got Danny them sneakers he wouldn't shut up about. He called me a hero. That word, hero, sat in my chest like whiskey on an empty stomach, warm, wrong, and burning slow. Lenny kept showing up, always grinning, always smelling like gas and sin. Got another run, kid. Quick one, drop a bag, pick up a box, no questions. Said I had steady hands, and I did. Steady enough to lie to Mom every night when she asked where the overtime came from. She'd smile, kiss my cheek, whisper, "You're saving us." Yeah, saving us with borrowed fire. Funny thing about favors, by the time you count them, you're already in debt. Danny started watching me different, eyes wide, hungry for whatever shine he thought I'd found. I told him, stay clean, keep fixing engines, not people's mistakes. But that boy wanted the shortcut, same as me. Didn't know he'd find a faster one straight through hell. Then came the first job that stuck to my ribs. Lenny said, "Guy owes us. You just stand there while we talk." I stood there, hands still, heart loud. They broke his nose. Blood hit the floor like oil on hot metal. I didn't move, didn't breathe, just learned how silence makes you an accomplice. Drove home with the windows down, hoping the night air could scrape the smell off me. But by the time I hit the porch, Danny was waiting, grinning, asking how much I made. I laughed, hollow and dry, told him enough. Truth, I just sold another piece of my sleep. Weeks blurred, cash stacked. Mom smiled easier, mine didn't. He called me a hero once. Funny how that word turns sour when you hear screams under it. I bought Mom a second-hand car, said it was a bonus. She cried. I wished I could. See, once you taste that kind of power, you forget what hunger felt like. But power's a meal that don't digest. It just sits in your gut, heavy as sin. every easy dollar weighs double when you try to sleep. And I swear, the richer I got, the poorer I felt. Soon enough, that weight started bending my spine. You ever climb so high on dirty money, you forget how far the ground really is? Funny thing about memories, they don't visit in order. One minute, you're hearing a door slam in some back room you shouldn't have been in. Next, you're smelling mom's stew on Sunday and the sound of the tap drip, drip, dripping in that little kitchen we used to hate. Guilt's a bad archivist. Throws birthdays in with bruises, mixes Christmas lights with the taste of blood. I used to think that meant I was broken. Now I know it's just how the past keeps you obedient. It gives you sweetness right next to the sting, so you never get brave enough to spit either one out. I remember Danny with a paper crown from the diner, asking me if heroes get dessert before dinner. I told him no. Heroes do the dishes first. Years later, I was doing worse than dishes for men with better shoes, and he was staring at me like I'd found the secret door. There ain't no doors, just hallways that narrow till you can only walk one way. So, if you're wondering when it turned, I can't tell you the exact second. All I know is the first time I held money that wasn't mine, it felt warm. And every warm thing since has felt a little bit stolen. Funny thing about power, it don't knock. It just moves in, rearranges the furniture, and makes itself at home. Soon enough, folks started stepping aside when I walked in. Lenny said I had presence. What I really had was blood on my conscience and cash in my pocket. Same poison, different flavor. Jobs got bigger. Money got louder. One night, Lenny tossed me keys to a black Buick. Said, "You're ready?" That's when I stopped running errands and started running people. Danny started riding with me, called it the business. I told him there ain't no business, just rot in fancy shoes. He laughed, said I'd gone soft. Maybe I had. Still dropped him home before midnight so Mom wouldn't worry. She'd thank me every time. Every thank you felt like a confession I never said out loud. We ran clubs, cards, protection. Cops looked away so long as the street stayed quiet. I told myself it was order. Better us than chaos. That lie spoiled quick. I still see that night in the garage when the three of us were laughing for real. Rain on the tin roof, the Buick up on the lift, grease speckling our arms like freckles we chose. Mom came by with 2 sandwiches and a kiss for Danny, a nod for me, and a polite hello for Lenny, the kind she used when the church ladies visited. He told a joke about a carburetor and a confession booth. We laughed too loud, but somewhere between our noise, I heard a quiet I didn't like, the kind that sits between men when one of them knows he's already taken more than he'll ever give back. Danny didn't hear it. He was busy wearing my jacket and Lenny's smile. Me? I pretended the sound was just the rain. You learn to pretend early in this life. First it's over time, then it's business. Next thing you know, you're speaking a new language where every lie means love. Lenny's grin stopped reaching his eyes weeks before he disappeared. Guess the streets were chewing him too. I thought I was smarter, thought I could steer clear of the same ending. But pride's a blindfold tied tight, and I wore it proud. That was before the street started calling me up for more. Here's how high we climbed. That night on the porch, the past wouldn't stay quiet. Every creak, every breeze, it all sounded like engines humming and ghosts breathing down my neck. Funny thing about being on top, you don't feel tall, just further from anyone who'd catch you, if you fell. After Lenny started keeping his distance, the streets went quiet. Deals still needed making. Debts still needed collecting. And when nobody else stepped up, all eyes turned to me. The mechanic with steady hands, the fool who took the fall and never talked. Respect came quick. Fear came quicker. They started calling me boss. Never liked the word. Felt heavier than the crown itself. Every man who said it was just waiting for the day he wouldn't have to anymore. Money flowed. Doors opened. Souls closed. Danny rode shotgun. Flash suits. Easy smiles. He said we'd made it. I said we were just buying time. Then Mom's heart gave out. Died while we were building an empire she never wanted. Danny said I shouldn't go. Too risky. So I sent flowers instead. White lilies like she used to buy on Sundays. Funny. I could buy 100 now, but not one more Sunday. That's when it hit me. I'd built a kingdom she couldn't be buried in. The higher we rose, the smaller the world felt. Money stacked high. Walls grew higher. Danny handled the books, the faces, the fronts. Said I was the muscle, he was the mind. And I believed him till I started seeing cracks in the gold. A crown ain't made of gold. It's made of guilt, welded with secrets. And mine, it was starting to bleed. You ever hold so much power, you forget what it feels like to be human, till the mirror starts reminding you every night. The cracks didn't just stay in the gold, they spread to faces, to smiles, to blood. Funny thing about envy, it don't scream, it smiles. It claps for you, pours your drink, then waits for you to turn your back. Danny started changing, not loud, not quick, slow like rust eaten through trust. Stopped calling me bro, started calling me boss. That word used to sound like respect. Now it just sounded like distance. He took more meetings without me, said he was expanding the business. But those new faces didn't look me in the eye anymore. They looked past me, toward him. That's how power fades, not with a bang, but with a shift in who the room listens to. Money began disappearing. He'd shrug it off, call it accounting mistakes. But the books don't lie. They just bleed slow. One night, I caught him whispering with a cop I'd been paying for years. He said it was about permits. I nodded, but my gut already knew. That hum before the storm was back. The closer people get to your throne, the easier it is for them to measure your neck. You ever look at someone you love and realize the only reason they're still smiling is 'cause they already know how the story ends? Endings never arrive with warning. They sneak in quiet, and when they hit, it ain't thunder you hear. It's your own heartbeat losing rhythm. That night felt wrong before it began. The air was too still, the street too empty. You ever feel the air hold its breath like it already knows what's coming? Danny was late. He never ran late. Said he was meeting one of our guys at the warehouse, wanted me there for one last deal. Those words should have stopped me. But when family calls, you answer, even when the call sounds like a trap. The warehouse lights buzzed weak, throwing long shadows that looked like regrets. Danny was already inside, smile tight, eyes darting like he was looking for an exit that didn't exist. "Glad you came," he said. "Always do," I told him. Then came the noise. Boots, shouts, red and blue bleeding through the windows. The door crashed open. Gunmetal voices yelling. The smell of metal and sweat hit harder than the cuffs. Time cracked wide open. I looked at Danny, and he looked back with eyes I didn't recognize. He didn't move, didn't warn me, didn't even blink, just watched. They cuffed me, read me words that felt rehearsed. Someone shouted, "We got the boss." and the whole room exhaled like the show was over. Danny turned away, hands sliding in his pockets. I wanted to ask why, but what good are questions when you already know the answers? Betrayal don't echo in your ears. It echoes in your bones. When they dragged me out, the cold hit first, then the silence. And in that silence, I heard my own voice whisper, "You did good, Danny. You made it out clean." Even then, I protected him. That's the curse of loyalty. It don't know when to stop. You ever take the fall for someone and realize the only thing you saved was their lie? Funny thing about time behind bars. It don't pass, it circles, same walls, same faces, same ghosts, learning your name. First few weeks I kept thinking I'd wake up, that someone would walk in and say there's been a mistake. But mistakes get released. I didn't. They gave me a cell with a window too high to see the sky, just enough light to remember what I lost. Days bled into nights, nights bled into years, and I learned the sound of silence. Not peace, just distance. Guards said I was quiet. Inmates said I was lucky. Truth is, I was both and neither. Kept my head down, mouth shut. Word spread. The boss took the fall, didn't snitch. They called me a legend. You ever get crowned for a crime that broke you? Respect don't keep you warm. It just keeps you alive enough to regret it. Letters stopped coming. Danny never showed. He sent one envelope, cash inside, no note, like he was paying rent on my silence. Sometimes, sitting in that cell, I'd close my eyes and see the season that looked like winning. Cash and rubber bands, nightclubs where the lights made every drink look clean. Men I didn't trust calling me brother. Women I didn't deserve calling me lucky. I used to step onto balconies, breathe in the noise, and tell myself this was the taste of being untouchable. But every toast sounded like a funeral if you listened long enough. Every laugh had a clock behind it, ticking steady, asking me if I knew what time it was. Danny loved those nights. He'd lean in, tell me we'd built something nobody could take. I'd nod and pretend I believed him. Truth is, the only thing we ever built that couldn't be taken was the version of ourselves we were too proud to bury. And when the season passed, 'cause it always does, I looked around at all the gold and realized it wasn't worth one good Sunday with Mom a lifetime ago. Funny thing about the past, it don't fade in prison, it sharpens. You see the shine clearer and the rust right beneath it. News travels strange inside. Sometimes it arrives like a rumor with bad shoes. Sometimes it's a headline passed around on a scrap of paper that smells like somebody else's smoke. That's how I heard about Lenny. They said he was found in his car behind the old bowling alley, engine idling, radio playing one of those songs he called Class. No holes, no mess, just gone. Some men go loud. The streets took him quiet. The same way he taught me to move, I thought I'd feel something like justice. What I felt was a thin wind cutting through a place that already had too much cold. I tried to remember his first gift to me, those Buick keys, all shine and promise. Then I remembered his real gift, the way my hand stopped shaking when I stopped being the person Mom could recognize. I folded the scrap and tucked it under the mattress like a photo, not to keep him close, to keep the lesson close. The streets don't remember you. They just remember what you were useful for. Years dragged. I talked to the walls, gave them names, learned every crack, every stain. They became my calendar, each one a year that don't belong to me no more. At night, I'd build engines in my head, nuts, bolts, carburetors, grease, things that made sense, things that didn't bleed. Guilt don't feel heavy after a while. It just becomes part of your weight, like breathing through a scar. When they finally told me I was up for release, I didn't feel free. Freedom's for men who still got a place to go. The air outside smelled different, too wide, too honest. All I had was silence, and I'd been carrying that long enough to call it home. You ever walk out of a cage and realize the real prison's the world waiting outside? Years turned to dust. Then the gates opened again. Funny thing about freedom, it don't wait for you. While you're gone, the world just keeps breathing. New faces, new streets, same sky that don't remember your name. When those gates opened, I walked out with a paper bag and a number. 10 years gone, and all I had to show for it was clean hands that still felt dirty. The air hit different, too sharp, too honest, like the truth had been waiting to sting. They said I could start over, but how do you start over when your story's still halfway buried? Every door I knocked on opened halfway. Every handshake lasted 1 second too short. People don't forget headlines. They just pretend to. Danny reached out first, said he wanted to make things right, said he had a shop, a family, a clean business. Come by, he told me. I owe you a drink. So I went. He looked good, older, richer, polished, like a man who traded guilt for good suits. You ever look at someone and realize they're living the life you built with your own mistakes? Photos on the wall, kids, wife, awards. He poured 2 glasses, said, "You kept your word." I said, "Yeah, it's the only thing I had left." We sat there, clinking ice against glass, drowning in the sound of everything we didn't say. He said he tells people I moved away after Mom died, that I couldn't handle the grief. Lies get cleaner the longer you leave them untouched. He offered me money. I told him I already got paid. Didn't say how, just let the silence finish the sentence. Before I left, he said, "You can still turn things around." And I told him, "You can't turn what's already gone in circles." You ever watch a man live your life and realize the cleanest thing about him is the dirt you took for him? Truth don't need a weapon. It just sits in the room till you're brave enough to stop looking away. Weeks passed after that drink. Didn't plan on seeing Danny again. Then one night, the phone rang. His wife's voice, soft, nervous, said he wasn't doing well, wanted to talk, said it was important. So I went. House too clean, kitchen too quiet. He looked smaller. "You came?" "Yeah. Seems I'm good at that. You still hate me?" "Hate takes energy. I ran out years ago." He said doctors gave him months, maybe less. Said he wanted peace. He talked. Fear, cops, money, stupid choices. Said he thought I'd bounce back. I told him I did, just not the way he meant. Ever think about telling the truth? Every damn day. But one of us had to stay clean. He cried. Said he built everything on my silence. Yeah, and look how nice it turned out. Truth don't set you free. It just stops you from sleeping through your sentence. Some nights, silence still wins. You ever tell the truth too late and realize the silence you kept was the only thing holding you together? Silence don't fade. It settles in your bones, learns your heartbeat, till you're humming along to your own regret. People said write a book, clear your name. They don't get it. Some names ain't meant to be cleaned. Danny's wife called when he passed, asked if I'd speak. I told her no. I stood in the back, watched them cry for a saint I helped build out of my own sins. The preacher said, integrity. I almost laughed. When they lowered him down, I dropped a wrench instead of a flower. Old habit. Fit better for a man who fixed everything. Except his conscience could have shouted the truth. But what good's the truth when the world loves the lie more? Mom said, keep the family name clean. So I did. Scrubbed it with my silence till my soul blistered. Now I sit on this porch, same sun, same street. I ain't protecting the family anymore. I'm protecting what's left of my purpose. You ever hold a secret so long it becomes the only thing keeping you alive? Yeah, that's me. Silence don't save you. It just gives your ghosts somewhere to sleep. You ever keep a promise so long you forget who you made it to? Mercy shows up when you least deserve it and still asks if you're ready to forgive. After the funeral, the house felt smaller. I kept seeing his face everywhere, and sometimes in mine. Found a shoebox of his letters, most blank. One line. You did what I couldn't. Silence? Survival? Maybe both. That night, I walked to the river we used to skip stones across, held that letter over the water. Couldn't let it go. Not yet. Forgiveness ain't for someone else. It's the last thing you owe yourself before the lights go out. I forgive you, Danny, and I forgive me too. Didn't feel holy, didn't feel clean, just quiet. The kind that don't echo anymore. You ever finally forgive and realize the silence that follows sounds a lot like peace? The porch creaks like always, evening spilling gold that fades fast. I used to think I was chosen. I wasn't. I volunteered, walked to it, eyes open, hands steady. Every sin I blamed on love, every crime I dressed up as loyalty, that was me. Loyalty was pride wearing forgiveness as perfume. Smelled holy, never was. Nights are longer now. Wind rattles the rail like old engines breathing. Guess I'm the same, still running on parts that should have been replaced. I think about Danny, Mom, about the laugh that started it all. It still echoes when the street goes quiet, not as guilt. As a warning, if anyone asks about me, tell them this. I wasn't a hero, wasn't a victim, just a man who mistook devotion for destiny and carried it until he forgot how to let go. How does it end? It doesn't. It just gets quiet. And maybe that's the only mercy I ever earned. At Voices of Ordinary People, we share true-to-life stories about love, loyalty, and the choices that never stop echoing. Stories told with honesty and emotion about family, betrayal, forgiveness, and the quiet price of silence. If you believe every life holds a story worth hearing, you're in the right place. Subscribe for more stories that make you feel, remember, and reflect. Because sometimes the most powerful confessions come from the ones who were never supposed to speak. And if this story felt a little too close to home, if it sounded like someone you knew, or maybe someone you used to be, remember, this could have been your story too. You can share your truth with us. Your story matters. Let it be heard. Voices of ordinary people, ordinary lives, extraordinary truths.